podcast. I'm excited to have you guys here. How you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you? Thanks for having us, dude.
Awesome. So let's start by talking a little bit about yourselves, what your background is, and we'll go from there. Jacob, you want to start?
All right. So I'm Jacob. I drive semi-truck for a living, delivering products in the surrounding states and locally. And
So the surrounding states of Colorado.
so Utah, Wyoming, Kansas, Texas even. So yeah.
Huh. Do you sleep in your truck?
In my recent role, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Not a whole lot, but I do sometimes.
It's cool in those semis because they have the bed in the cab in the back right there. And when I was a little kid, like, I would always see my grandpa and my uncle have one. I'm like, dang, it'd be so cool to be on the road and sleep in the bed right there. But Tyler, what about you?
So I'm Tyler. I'm a landscaper here in Colorado Springs. Besides that, I'm really into like fitness and just trying to be an active person. I really love doing some of that stuff. So my life is constantly with my body as much as I can, kind of thing. So that's really all about me and my hobbies. But yeah, besides that, I just enjoy having fun and trying to take real estate to a level where I don't have to move my body so much.
Yeah. So. Are you guys both from Colorado Springs?
Not Colorado Springs. We're born and raised in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. So we're local to Colorado, but not Colorado Springs. Pagosa Springs is a small town in southern Colorado, very close to the New Mexico border. We have hot springs, all sorts of, there's a ski area, Wolf Creek ski area is very close to there. So moving up to Colorado Springs has been a little bit of a transition from small town to a little bit bigger city. It's not a huge city, but to us, it's, at least to me, it's a big town. So
did you guys make that move like together as like a whole family, or did you come, Jacob first and then Tyler? How'd that kind of
go? So I was accepted to a couple different colleges around the state of Colorado. And I chose to go to UCCS here in Colorado Springs. And I kind of got stuck here after that. So
and then I started off my college career at Adams State in Alamosa, Colorado, and then transferred up here to be a little bit closer to him, get a little bit farther away from my hometown. So, and then same thing, kind of got stuck here, and now we're living life in Colorado Springs and making the best of it. So
what did you think of your time down in Adams State? Because I went to Pueblo for 4 years and played soccer there, so we would travel to Adams State a lot. And it was just like nothing here. It was like this little tiny town.
No, that was one of the issues, is there was not much to do outside of the sport I was playing. So I needed a little bit of a change, and we have some family in that area. So most of them live in Monte Vista, but nothing to do, nothing to see besides just whatever you got going on in life. And for me at that time was go to school and play baseball. So I needed a little bit more to my life than just that aspect. And I definitely love Colorado Springs a lot more because it reminds me of my hometown. Got the mountains very close. There's all sorts of different stuff to do. Whereas in Alamosa, there was just flat. You could go to the sand dunes maybe, but after 1 or 2 visits, it's old.
Yeah, I still have yet to been to the sand dunes, so I've been trying to, but I haven't made it out there yet.
Yeah, you definitely gotta at least check it out once in your lifetime for sure.
Yeah. So how did you guys kind of transfer over into getting involved in real estate?
So, in 2021, I decided that I wanted to buy some property and build a house. So I actually bought 40 acres east of Colorado Springs. And I've been trying to develop that. It's a lot more difficult than I imagined at first.
Yeah.
But it's a work in progress. Still trying to work on it. And then Tyler presented me with an opportunity, and we joined together on this property. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. What's your plan for that 40-acre lot of what you want to do there?
So the original property or the original idea for the property was to build just a house for myself and, kind of live out there. After I purchased it, there were opportunities that have come up, and I've just been exploring different options. Some have been, I can, based off the zoning of the property, and would be able to build up to 3 houses on it and
cool.
rent them out and things like that. If I was able to change the zoning, I could possibly subdivide it and create smaller lots and either sell the lots off or build homes on them and then sell them. So it's just kind of looking at what the overall profit of the property would be while maintaining a little bit of area for myself if I want to build my own home. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So Tyler, did you kind of see what Jacob was doing and that's how you got hooked, or how did you get into real estate?
So it kind of all started about a decade ago for me. I had a high school friend that their parents owned 2 homes on the same piece of property. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to have 2 homes. I never really thought I'd be the type of person to have 2 homes, and then fast forward like 5 years or so, graduate high school. And when I moved up to Colorado Springs, a buddy of ours had their parents buy them a house, and we were living in the house with them, paying the rent, paying down the mortgage, doing the house hacking thing, essentially for our friend. And it was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I get the concept, and then kind of just went on my way. So it's been over the course of a decade that I've just kind of come to the idea of like real estate makes the most sense. I like it because you can build a lot of wealth, but you have a lot more control compared to like the stock market. I try to get into that kind of stuff, but it was extremely complicated for me, and I was stuck with the houses and stuff like that. I like being hands-on, and so that's kind of how I got into real estate, and then found bigger pockets and went on from there. So and then
how did you guys decide to partner up together, and how did you work that out for the current deal that you guys have?
So Jacob actually came to me. I talked after he purchased his property out east. I talked to him about like what I saw myself doing in terms of real estate, and then we talked for about a year, just saying, oh, hey, going some back and forth, getting some ideas going and stuff. And then an opportunity came up in terms of his personal situation and my personal situation. I was already going towards looking at properties and stuff like that for myself. And then he got into a position where he was like, oh, okay, now I can probably jump in and we can partner together kind of thing. So it all kind of just came down to the right timing and stuff like that. I was searching while he was just getting into a position where he could say, okay, this makes sense for me personally.
Okay. That's awesome. And once you started, you got your partnership together, how did you find the current location of Colorado Springs and decide on that one?
So Colorado Springs was essentially actually our second location that we chose.
Okay.
The first one was back home. We had looked at
Pagosa Springs.
In Pagosa Springs. We had an opportunity to buy an old family member's home that had sold to somebody else a while back, and it was up for resale. So once we decided that we were going together, we had looked at that property. It wasn't a viable option for us. So we started looking further, and since we live in Colorado Springs, we chose something that was close, so that we had the opportunity, in case something arises, we're able to be here to, fix or handyman or take care of a situation, anything like that. And that's kind of how we got not stuck, but chose Colorado Springs is our primary location to start searching.
Okay. And where's the property located in Colorado Springs, and why do you like where it's located?
It's located close to downtown, right next to Memorial Park. I like the location because of how close it is to a lot of the general like visitors places around here. Like you got probably what 15-minute drive to Garden of the Gods, Manitou Springs, probably about 15-minute drive. Downtown is like 5-minute drive maybe. And then we got the nice, beautiful park right across the street that the guests can look through, look right out the door, and there's the park. So you constantly get that, like, people are around, people are active. It's kind of like, hey, this city is about fun and enjoyment, spending time outdoors, which that's Colorado's kind of Colorado Springs kind of thing. So
yeah, go out, go hiking, go explore the city, and then come back to your home base basically. And tell us a little bit about the property, because it's a duplex, right? And your house hacking it.
That's correct. Yeah. So it's a duplex built in like 1941, I believe. It was actually our second choice for a duplex. We were looking at 3-bed, 1-bath, and 2-bed, 1-bath duplex on the west side of I-25, and then they didn't accept our type of loan that we were getting, which was an FHA loan, or is an FHA loan. And then this property, I liked it a lot because it was recently remodeled. So there wasn't a ton of work in terms of big things that we would need to do. It was very, very close to turnkey in terms of Airbnb. We just had to do some minor, but not minor things to the house that we didn't really expect. So that's why I like the property. It was basically ready for Airbnb, except for a few touch-ups that turned
Whose idea was it? Whose idea was it to do the Airbnb?
It was mine. Yeah.
Jacob, what did he say to you to get you to convince you to be on board with that? Or were you on board from the beginning?
So of course we did, return on investment and stuff like that. Projections for the property based off areas for even long-term rental, medium-term and short-term. Tyler did his research very well on short-term rentals and medium-term rentals, and was able to compare it and showed that because we do have a lot of people that actually visit Colorado Springs for different activities, there was greater return on investment opportunity with an Airbnb. So we kind of made a deal that we're going to try it out and see what ends up happening with the short term.
Yeah. So when did you buy this? Was this in 2022?
Yes.
What month?
September. End of
Okay.
September.
Okay. So how do you feel, doing short-term rentals starting in September till now, basically the end of the best time for short-term rental in Colorado Springs?
So for me, it was like I guess we started the short-term rental side of it by the beginning of November.
Okay.
So we had the property for about a month and a half, furnishing it, getting everything ready before we actually started short-term rentals. And as the end of the year approached and we weren't quite ready to list it, it was like nerve-wracking. We did very well right off the get-go. Around the holidays and stuff, we had quite a few bookings, and then the slow time starts at the beginning of the year and it died off really quick. So for me, it was like, oh, what do we do?
Yeah.
But
it's been very nerve-wracking since we started, just because of the seasonality of Colorado Springs. We got right at the tail end of the high season. So like he said, we started off really well and we were like, okay, this thing makes sense. We're doing all right for our projected numbers. And then January, February hit and we were like, oh, what have we done? Do we need to pivot? Do we need to do this? But we're giving it a full calendar year for short-term rentals. And then we're gonna run the numbers and see what we want to do. But as of right now, it's starting to pick up a little bit. We're at the end of April, and May, June, July are about to hit us hard, and we're excited for that. We've got some recent bookings that have made it way less stressful and way less nerve-wracking in terms of our strategy. So coming into the high season has been quite nice compared to the low season.
And with short-term rentals, it's always nerve-wracking because you're not like locked in for your bookings that you can see out for the whole next month. It's like someone could get there tomorrow when you're booked, and it's like, okay, this was awesome, but like yesterday I was freaking out because I had no one there for the next 2 weeks, and it's like I don't know how to like calm myself down about it, but you just gonna have to live with it of what to do and stuff like that. But have you had any challenges with any guests doing the short-term rentals so far?
Not necessarily guests. Our biggest thing, which I'll have Jacob take over and talk a little bit more about, because that's kind of his forte. It's been with the lender and more of the numbers side, not so much our guests. Our guests have been pretty awesome. We've only had one that's stained our sheets that we've had to replace, but besides that, been super nice and very quiet, very clean people. So, but most of it's been on the lender, the insurance, and some of the other stuff, and he knows all the details about that.
Okay.
So.
Is that kind of your role, Jacob? You were kind of dealt more with the financials and the number side?
Yeah, I do a lot more of like the back end kind of stuff. You know, processing receipts and paperwork and making our books balance and things like that. You know, making sure bills are paid. I let him do more of the cleaning side of like for the Airbnbs, and you know, if we have to take care of, you know, replacing an outlet or, you know, putting some more mulch down, that's his forte. And he does better at that than I do, so I let him work on that and I do the numbers.
Yeah, that's one of the best partnerships to have, is where you each like complement each other on your roles, and then like I won't question you about it. You know best on what to do in this. And
yeah, exactly.
Is there any times where you like kind of butt heads on like what one person thinks should do?
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. Because we are brothers, I think that plays a large role in a lot of our conflicts that arise. We've done very well at managing those conflicts and, you know, expressing our ideas to each other so that we are able to come to a compromise or to understand why it's better to do something than not. And definitely a challenge as brothers and as partners, but as long as you are committed to actually making it work and understanding, instead of trying to be like, oh, mine's better than yours, or this is better than that. Listen to the person that you're partnered with and respect that they know what they're talking about and have done their research if it requires research.
Yeah, that's really good advice on partnerships, and it can be tricky and can go bad really fast. So
yeah,
that's good, Jacob. Would you guys recommend doing a short-term rental with the house hack strategy to other house hackers out there?
100%. Yes. Not just in Colorado Springs, but all over the US, depending on your market, definitely do your research. But from what I've understood and looked into short-term rentals, all the numbers I've crunched, in terms of house hacking, it's going to be one of your best or your highest revenue generators. Instead of you can do rent by the room, you can do long-term for like if you're doing a duplex, do stay on one side, long-term rent the other side. You're gonna see less profit, but especially for your first house hack, you're excited, you're willing to do whatever it takes. So take on a little bit more work with the short-term rental side of things, and see the profit come in off of it, make it a little bit less stressful in terms of the money. So definitely recommend.
Was there anything you would change about what you did for this first property that you would want to implement on your second property?
For me, the one thing I think that we need to do for our next one is talk to a bunch of different lenders and get a better, not necessarily better, but get the best option out there for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of interest rate or communication, down payment, in what aspect would you want to question them more about?
Communication and some of their loan products that they have. Just shop around, see what each different lender offers and stuff. But definitely the communication side of things, it was not the best experience in terms of that. So definitely trying to figure out, do our due diligence and just kind of like shop around for the best fit for us and for them.
Okay. So, would you guys plan to buy another property, or what does your future look like in real estate? And with that 40 acres as well, is that kind of in the plans of what you want to do long term?
So for me, my focus outside of this property is developing the 40 acres. I've been doing a lot of research. I've had the property for, by the end of May, it will be 2 years. And I've done a lot of development on it for up to 3 homes, which was the original or the second option that I had when I bought the property. So continuing down that path and doing more research on future development of the property, because it is agricultural, so I can add different types of investments to it other than rental income. So for me,
what type of those investments would that be?
So I can have any kind of business out there, pretty much. If I build like storage facilities for my equipment, not necessarily for other people, but for my equipment and stuff like that, doing like a shop, or I can go agricultural where I put like a greenhouse or something up, or I can go the farming route and raise livestock and things like that. So there's a couple different streams of revenue out there.
I like that the property has like versatility of which route you want to go. So if something happens one way, you can pivot and try this other avenue to see if that's a better route as well. Tyler, what about you? What are you thinking for the future?
So definitely for myself, whatever opportunity arises for me personally, that comes up, whether it be another house hack or jump in with him on his property, I'm always going to help him with whatever he needs out on that particular property, even though right now I'm not necessarily a part of that deal. But like we plant trees on there all the time and do a bunch of different stuff to increase the value of the property. But in terms of what my future looks like in real estate is, I would like to get another house hack, maybe one with an ADU. That's kind of what I would like to do. But if the opportunity arises, like he says like a storage unit or something like that comes up out there, why not? The opportunity's there. Why not diversify my portfolio a little bit right off the get-go? I already have a little bit of knowledge in terms of the house hacking side of things. And as long as the Airbnb is continuing to kick butt while I live here, partner with him and go into that property a little bit more heavy. Honestly, for me, whatever seems to be the right choice at the right time. But either way, house hack or develop the property out east is definitely 2 viable options for myself.
Real quick, explain to everyone what an ADU is.
So if I get the definition correctly, it's a auxiliary dwelling unit. So detached garage or like mother-in-law suite, if that's correct. So I'm kind of looking for that, basically 2 houses that are separated instead of doing the duplex. So 2 living spaces that are completely separated from each other. I feel like it's just going to be a little bit easier on my personal life because having the duplex, we have wall to wall. It's wall to wall. So every time we have a guest, it feels like we have to like tiptoe around the house and not be super loud. So it does affect a little bit of the lifestyle. We've grown out of that a little bit because we're starting to realize that nobody can really hear us, but it's one of those things where you're like constantly worried about it, especially with the high review rate on Airbnb. But I would like to do that. I also feel as though when I go into a property with an ADU, I need to make sure that the short-term rental permits in the area aren't quite taken up yet, because that's an issue that we've run into here at this property. One of the other investors at Go Patch Brewery, Michael, he has his permit taken up for the non-owner occupied, like 250 feet away from this house. So or something like that.
And and the rule is 500 feet, so he's like right there, really close to you guys.
And he's helped us out a lot. So
one more question before we start to wrap it up. You guys are planting trees on this property. Are they like just the seed you're starting with, or are you like it's already like a little baby tree that you're planting in, and what else is going on with that?
So there's a couple different ones that we've planted. We've planted 6-foot apple trees out there. Just as like a source for food. I like the way they look and provide like shaded area to hang out maybe in the future. We've planted pine trees that are about 2 feet tall to start a windbreak to reduce any wind that comes across the property. And I have on order right now a bunch of seedlings that are probably anywhere from 6 to 18 inches tall that I'm going to plant in kind of more of a farm style area. It's about 100 trees that I'm going to get and to grow them, because I can either, as a revenue stream, dig them up and sell them as little trees, that are maybe 3 feet tall in the future, or replant them other places on the property to provide more shade, more windbreaks, and just add value to the property.
Gotcha. Are you like just planting them directly in a straight line? So it's like just rows, like a whole orchard of pine trees, and it's going to be like awesome for photos, and you can turn this into like a wedding venue somehow, or.
So the windbreak one is all in a row. The apple trees are in a different location that are just randomly set next to each other, so that they're able to pollinate and stuff and kind of give more of a natural feel instead of a calculated spacing and all that kind of stuff. The seedlings that are being shipped in will be, because it's in a farming style, it'll be very dense and in rows and more like a Christmas tree type farm looking thing. So kind of like
that's
all
awesome.
those different things.
Once you like in a year, we gotta talk about this again. I want to hear what this farming tree situation is going on, because it seems really, really cool. Okay, so we'll wrap it up here with the last question. I really like quotes that help motivate people to get started in real estate or just in general of life. So what quote do you have that has helped you throughout your real estate journey so far, or even throughout life, that you think would help other people? Tyler, you want to start?
Yeah, your quote.
He said a quote yesterday that I was like, I'll have to hop on that. But one quote that has is very popular, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The reason I like that quote so much is because, like, what I've learned from getting into real estate is you just got to do it. You just got to take action. That's what a lot of people miss out on, is just not taking action. And they'll sit there and they'll analyze deals for hours on ends and stuff like that. But the action part is probably the biggest thing that most people miss out on, in my opinion. So I love that quote for that reason.
Yeah, that is awesome. Taking action is one of the most difficult things to get people that are new to the game to start doing, to actually see results. So, Jacob, what do you got for us?
So I've used this quote pretty much since before I even graduated high school. And I think it plays a good role for any situation that you're in. The quote is, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts," by Winston Churchill. So kind of going off Tyler's is, if you don't succeed, don't give up. If you fail, keep working at it, and things will happen over time. If you give up, it's never going to happen. If you don't ever do it, it's never going to happen. But if you try and continue to work and put the energy into it, it will return. So.
That's awesome. I can see why you wanted to take that one, Tyler. He took a good one. Yeah.
I was like, man, I appreciate you having me go first too.
Yeah.
Out the water. Right?
Yeah.
I come in with that little quote after that amazing one. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks for coming, guys. It was a great little podcast, and we'll definitely check in with you guys in the future to see how things are going and what that tree farm's doing. That tree farm is going to be so good in the future. So. Is there any way when people they want to reach out to you, say they want to learn more about this tree farm on social media, where can they find you?
We haven't really started social media.
Not as a partnership, but
yeah.
My social media for Instagram is at tmans_29. So that's a good one. You can just Google my name, Tyler Manzanares. That's a good way to get in touch with me.
Cool.
In the future, we will have a social media.
Yeah. I'll tag it in the show notes. But yeah, Jacob.
Okay.
I also have Instagram that anybody's welcome to check out. I do a lot of photography on as a hobby, so I post a lot to there. And definitely as things go better with or not go better, but continue to grow with the property out there and we do more out there, I'll definitely post pictures. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And where's that? Where can we find that? What's the name of that account?
I will have to get that for you.
Cool. Just text
in
it
the
to
past,
me.
it's just been like, one of those things that I post it because I just enjoy taking photos and sharing it with friends and family. So
cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. It was a pleasure, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.